And welcome everyone to the Miss USA prediction show with your host Paul and our co-host Adrianna Davis. Welcome back, guys.
Hi, everyone.
So, as always, if you haven't been to our competition show, these are the rules. So, we base it solely on the photo, and this year we have one consistent photographer. So, they're all edited and photographed by one person who is, if Adriana may help us on that.
Yeah, so the photographer is Grant Photo, and he's based out of Texas. And also, the makeup team is Team Flawless Co. And Anna Cantu, who is just awesome. She's the hair artist. And then, as everyone knows, and if you don't know, the new director and owner of Miss USA and Miss Teen USA is Crystal Stewart. And she has done this whole kind of revamp under the hashtag pageantry reimagined. So this is really cool because in the past, when Trump used to own the pageant, they would do photo shoots all together at Miss USA, but instead of doing it at Miss USA this year, they actually all went on a trip to Cancun, both the teens and the Miss. And during their Cancun trip a couple months ago, they were able to do several photo shoots, but the two main ones that have been published now are a swimsuit photo shoot where they all had matching one pieces and these like extension ponytails that they posed with, and then also their headshots that we're talking about today. And they all pretty much have the same exact aesthetics. They're implied kind of nudity with their bare shoulders showing, very like makeup esque, like beauty editorial kind of esque. It's a common shot for beauty photos.
A tube
And so
top photo, if everyone,
yeah,
yeah, right.
yeah. No, they're actually wearing a tube top. They're not actually nude, of course, but it's just to accentuate their face and their hair, so you're not distracted by what they're wearing. So I'm excited to talk about these.
Oh, I am too. I also got some feedback from one of the contestants, and she was expressing that the experience was everything that she had always dreamt of. So it's really nice to see that USA is finally coming back to its status as being the premier pageant, and it's really great to see people really getting an opportunity to live out their dreams. I know that if you had this opportunity when you were Miss Maryland, you would have been so happy to have this experience. So I'm really thankful the girls are getting this opportunity.
Yeah, when I went to Miss USA, we did do a photo shoot with Georgina Vaughn. Um, However, it was a collaboration with a boutique, so we didn't really get we they picked out what we got to wear, and which they did here too, but I think it was more like lifestyle-y of a photo instead of these glam photos, which I would have loved for sure.
Well, the other thing that's just great is they also all got to go to Cancun. I mean, that's
Yeah,
pretty. That's pretty. That's pretty awesome.
and I was following the girls on their stories and stuff, and they got to see like flamethrowers, and they got to do a whole boot camp. So Crystal Stewart actually, she was Miss USA for anyone who doesn't know, but she was also, before she won Miss USA, she was Miss Texas USA. And prior to taking over the organization, she was running the Miss Houston local, because some states for USA have local pageants. And so she actually has this entire company called the Miss Academy. And so both the teens and the Miss kind of, and I think it runs as like a pageant coaching business, but it also is affiliated with her old local Miss Houston. So, anyways, I know that they had like walking prep all together, and like maybe even, I don't know if they did interview, but maybe styling. They just had like kind of an experience of what her boot camp really was, which I think is also really cool for obviously everybody who doesn't live in Texas but knows about this academy.
I mean, the most important thing is that it really is bringing back the shine that was missed for a little bit, and they're even getting a national TV spot, which is so important too. So um, I'm really excited for this. So
I think you cut out for a second, Paul. Are you still there?
oh, I'm here. Yeah, I'm here on my end. So um, my biggest thing is so let's go with the rules. So the rules are we are 1-1. So last time, if you've been keeping up, We hadn't cashed in our dinner, so at this point we're even. So it's all null and void. So whoever wins this year should really cash in their dinner because now that COVID's over. So we're gonna make that opportunity to do that. Okay, so you have to win two of the three, and the three are Universe, USA, and Miss America. Now, I think the other thing that I want to point out, and is just a course of fact because of COVID, the winner of Miss USA is got to compete for Miss Universe in less than 3 weeks, which is unheard of. I think that's never happened. And I'd
Yeah,
like to ask my resident uh, title holder, uh, Miss Maryland, 2016-17, her opinion on that. So, um, do you think you're just going in preparing for Miss Universe, and then when you win, or like how
yeah,
do you, how do you?
basically. So the thing is that like it's always been the difference between Miss America and Miss USA is that like Miss America had fixed dates, so you always knew how much time you prepare. Whereas Miss USA has never had a fixed schedule. It's always like, oh, you may be competing like next week, or you may be competing in 6 months. Um, and that's what they would tell girls on the state level and the judges on the state level is that you should pick the girl that's ready to compete at the Miss USA stage tomorrow. So at the state level, they're always doing that. But I think especially this year, because they didn't find this out until like I think they found out like a month ago, um, that the schedule for Miss Universe, for whoever wins Miss USA, obviously competes at Miss Universe, is literally 2 weeks away. So I'm sure that's what the judges are going to be told. Like, pick the girl that can literally step on the Miss Universe stage tomorrow, which is a little bit of an upset, I'm sure, for some girls. But at the same time, all of these girls obviously are, um, you know, worthy enough for the Miss USA title because they're all their state title holders.
But
So
let's
I
talk
think
about the actual fitness level. I mean, I remember your fitness level when it came to USA. I had never seen you in better shape. So I would assume that because it's so close, that would put Miss USA, whoever that shall be, at a really good advantage because she'll be really in fighting shape. Is that?
yeah, no, I agree. I think the swimsuit body is definitely going to be taken into consideration, maybe higher. I do like overall that we are kind of it used to be like again in the Trump days these girls were like physique competitors where their muscles were literally poking out of their bodies and that's all they had, and I think now they are with this whole pageantry reimagined it is more like healthy bodies instead of cut bodies, if you know what I mean. So I do think in general that I like the direction of moving towards, like real women, real healthy women. So I don't think it'll be necessarily the one that's like, dripping in no body fat at all. Like it won't be the girl with the tightest skin, but I do think that will be considered just because of obvious reasons. And Miss Universe, those girls are still obviously competing at that sort of level.
Well, I didn't think it was going to be someone with zero body fat, but I was definitely thinking that the most competitive persons is probably going to be the one that definitely wins. Like I think that's definitely the opinion.
Mhm.
Right?
I think like story and like whatever their platform, but also their personal story is also really obviously it's kind of unfortunate for some people who don't have like super unique stories about their upbringing or if they haven't experienced any sort of adversity, but that's just kind of how the program is run. If we're being honest, like the stories are super marketable, and especially if they can be relatable to women across the world, then I think that always helps the girl out.
I do want to make a acknowledgement that I made a staffu. I made a little mistake. It still is on FYI. The broadcast time, East Coast time, is 8 p.m. It is also going to be streamed live on Hulu streaming. So those are the two options, and I know that depending on what streaming, there's a way to get it complimentary for the evening. So look into your streaming package and see if you can sign up for Hulu complimentary for the day, or if there's an FYI package, FYE network package or something. It might not be that expensive. Out of the United States, you guys are just gonna have to check your listings. I can't go over 200 and plus countries, but I do want to mention that this is a milestone. This is the celebration of the 70th edition, and it is I was talking to Adrianna off camera. This is crowning the 21 title holder, not the 22. So this will be This will be Miss United States 2021.
Miss USA.
So Miss USA. I'm sorry. So now that we got all of that out of the way, I
do want to say, just because we're talking about differences, now that Crystal's taken over, she, I think, is obviously changing everything, but it's kind of sad. Like, I just feel like this is the one thing. It's still cool, but I think it's sad. But the new Miss USA is going to live in Los Angeles instead of New York City.
Now I thought
tradition.
that at one time it was in LA, like in the 80s it was.
Maybe it was, but I guess in my time span of living, it's always been New York City.
No, I know. And I agree with you. There is some kind of prestige of being in Los Angeles, but you know, with your background, Aid, you know, the thing that it would have been a tremendous coup for you to have a whole year to live in LA. So I think it's probably gonna help them more to have that they're probably gonna have more opportunities to be on the Entertainment Tonight, or doing guest interviews, or being in television shows. Like, I think it's probably going to bring more to the Universe family.
Yeah, I just wonder if they're still going to go on their media tour, and because media in New York City, you know, they would go to the Statue of Liberty and Good Morning America and all Top of the Rock, Top of the Empire. Like, they were just all these super iconic photos, which I don't really, I mean, I guess LA has the Hollywood sign. I don't know, but
you know,
I just that. But I will say that they do get a Porsche for the entire year to drive, which is awesome.
Sign me up.
I know, right?
Wait a minute. They're gonna let them drive themselves. They're not gonna get a driver. Like, that's pretty scary too.
Yeah, I guess, but LA, you need a car. It's not like New York where they would have drivers and then, you know, cabs and stuff. So yeah, no, they definitely are going to have their own car. Maybe they'll always have their assistant, probably.
Well, I'm just saying that I'm surprised they're going to let them drive themselves. Like, I don't know if you've ever read about after you win the presidency, you never are really allowed to drive. You always have a driver, right? Because you're too they don't want you to get in a car accident. So
your job is so important that you can't hurt yourself.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, even after, I was reading this book about Bill Clinton, and Bill Clinton rarely drives. And he hasn't been.
Hillary Clinton hasn't driven in literally 30 years.
Right, exactly. So, I remember watching this one, and they were talking about his driver's license. They take away physically their driver's license. So, I could see them doing that to them too. Like, you don't need it. Like, you don't need your credit card, you know. Hey, I would love to get in that situation just to see just for 24 hours. It's fascinating.
Right. Totally.
So
all right.
So here, okay. So again, Aid knows a lot of the girls. Adrianna knows a lot of girls. So she kind of has a one on me, but just to give everyone a kind of an idea, we're very competitive when it comes to it. Adrianna's picked contestant. One of her friends actually won, and then I've had first runner-up. So we're very, very close, and this is solely based on myself as a photo, and Adrianna's promised that she's basing it on her photo, but she probably knows a little bit more than I do. But that's fine. That just makes me feel better when I beat her. So,
okay, cool.
to start off, I always say ladies first. So Adriana is gonna go first, and then she's gonna tell you why she likes that person. So, ladies first.
Okay, so my first pick is Florida.
Florida. Okay.
hmm And her name is Ashley Carino. I don't know much about her, but I think this whole photo setup is like a win because they're all stunning photos. But sometimes, since it's the exact same styling, it's also kind of like a lose because some girls are like, signed models and, or not to say that like being a model is what's going to win you Miss USA, but I feel like girls have more experience that can get that electric kind of like vibe. And I think Florida's eyes here and her chin, like how it's turned to the side, I think it's very, she knows. I think she knows how to take photos. I think she's probably a model just from being a model myself and experience. The one thing I don't love is that her hair is fully covering her neck. I wish I was seeing more of skin, but I think her face is so captivating.
So I'm with you on the. So I guess I'm gonna ask you a question. So do you think it is more a person in front of the camera, or do you think it's the way they are all consistently being edited? Because they are edited with a certain style. They've enhanced the eyes. A lot of the dark skinned girls with the way their hair is, it's over their neck, which I'm surprised that they didn't want to show off, be a consistent look if they're gonna do their makeup and their eyes a certain way. What's your thought on that
I
matter?
kind of like it because number one, it gives them all like no one has an advantage. Like I like that their makeup is all literally the same, like the same lashes, the same bronzy, like brown colors, the same natural lip tone, the highlights, literally like, and I think that's cool because then it's not like anybody has one up on another person. And that's why I'm saying just like the posing, and I don't know Grant Photo, he could be an awesome director behind the camera, but my idea of this photo shoot was each girl probably got like 30 minutes max, and they were moving constantly, just taking as many photos as maybe even less than 30 minutes, it could have been 15, I don't know, but they would just move around and he would just be like, and there's obviously a fan, so I think and that's where it's like if someone like me, it's like I would have asked to put the fan on for some and I would have asked to turn the fan off, so it's kind of like being a model. I think you would just have more know-how of how you wanted the shoot to go instead of only taking direction from the people there. If Does that make sense?
Yeah, I was trying to come up with how. So there's 50 contestants, and then if you're saying there's 10 minutes for each one, that's 500 minutes. 500 minutes divided by 60. Uh, that's gonna be a whole day's worth of.
Yeah, I know the shoot was a whole day, like they got everybody done in one day, so yeah, probably was only 10 to 15 minutes that they got, and that's what makes
Wow.
these heads, even for these girls to get such great images, it's impressive no matter what.
I mean that's a big per. I mean, so this is 8 day. This is 8 hours worth of work. So, all right.
So who's your first one?
I, I've interviewed her. She's also a former Maryland contestant, Vermont. I just think that there's so many impressive things about her. One, um, she's a she's a professional minor league hockey player. She plays full contact hockey.
That was
Um, and she actually coaches minor league hockey. Uh, and she is more the type of woman that I think Adriana always talks about, like a real like she's not super thin, but she's really gorgeous. And I think the photo really highlights all of those attributes.
Her eyes are piercing too. I don't know how I missed her, but yeah, no, she's a beautiful woman.
If you get a chance, definitely, and this is to the audience too, look at her hockey. It's really impressive. She's got some videos where she's like hitting the boards and like racking. She plays against guys, so she plays in a men's league. So it's pretty impressive. So, Vermont,
Okay,
number one for me.
okay, my number two, and like Paul said, I'm sort of biased on some of these. But I think he is too, because clearly you knew the Vermont girl.
Yes.
But I pick Hawaii, which is one of
Hawaii.
my dear friends, Allie Chu. She and I have the same agent in New York State Management. She was also a Miss America title holder. She was Miss Hawaii America. And so I just know all of her advocacy work that she does, and she sings. She's also an actor, model, of course, but she's just really a beautiful person. And I do think that since she is a model and I've seen a lot of her book, she may have better photos, but this one I still think is beautiful. And I think it's time again. I don't know the history of Asian Americans being Miss USA, but I know in my experience, I haven't seen too many. So I hope to see their representation in the future.
Now, she was in your class for America, right?
No, she was in the class with Hannah Brewer.
Okay. And Hannah Brewer was...
Savvy one savvy one, the blonde savvy.
Is that the year after or before you?
Before. That's like 2 years
Oh, it's
before
2
me.
years.
Yeah, years.
Okay, so she's what? She's like 2 years older than you then?
No, actually, I think we're the same age. I think she was just really young when she competed in America.
Okay, because that's what I was looking at. I was like, she looked familiar, but okay. So yeah, so she's probably gonna do really well.
Yeah, I hope so.
Yeah,
that's all, of course. Who's your number 2?
So my number 2 is Pennsylvania. So give me 1 second as I'm writing down your notes for the... So I just thought Pennsylvania really stuck out so well.
That's the one thing about these photos is like if you have a unique hairstyle, you automatically stand out.
Well, especially the way we're playing this game is, it's that...
For those who don't know that are listening, Pennsylvania has a blonde pixie cut, and it's super edgy, and she's obviously very beautiful. I know she was also a teen title holder too in the past. She was Miss Pennsylvania Teen USA. I don't know the year, but I know she was, and she's always had this pixie haircut.
The photo style really helps her. Like she's got these cool little moles on her neckline that are just nice, and the editing style is really complementary to her hairstyle and to her look. Her collarbone is... I mean, if we're gonna do a tube top, then the collarbone needs to pop, and it really does pop really well. So, and they're doing the embellished highlight on the eyes. So I think it's really kudos, well done from an editing standpoint as well as just a great photo. So
yeah, no, she was gonna be one of my honorable mentions.
All right, number 3
is Kentucky.
Well, I might as well say that's one of mine as well.
Oh, okay, cool. So we agree on this one. She is the only woman that has, a very I don't want to say the only woman that rocks it. I don't know that. But in this set, she's one of the only African American women to really rock the curly hair afro look. But I think what's really unique about hers is that it's like blonde, golden. It's like a blonde.
I think it's blonde.
It's like brown and golden at the same time. I don't know how she's achieving that, but I think she's just stunning. She has a very individual... She's the only person that looks like this. And her eyes are light, which matches her hair. And like you said, her collarbone is popping.
I mean, I don't know if this is a negative or positive, but I'm an 80s kid, so I remember this being like a Jerry curl. And they would like wetten it, and it would be... And it looks like it's like that, where it's a little damp, but I don't think it's damp. I think it's just naturally curly, and it's beautiful. It's just stunningly gorgeous. So, I really love her neckline. Like I was like, oh, look at all those angles. Like they're just so... And again, the overemphasize of the eye edit. So her eyes just and I do like the makeup artist did a wonderful job on her shadows, doing her cheekbones.
Like she knew to slightly raise her neck a little bit, or her chin, I should say, and then to slightly dim her eyes. I mean, or it could have just been the photographer capturing it right at this moment. But this is a pose where like an eyeshadow company would want a pose like this because it's showing off the eyeshadow, where a lot of the other girls are kind of more head on and their eyes are wider. You know what I mean? And so I think that's also what sets this apart. Yeah, no, I would love to hear about the direction versus if the girls were just fully on their own.
I think what we should do, if I can work it, is that if you would be fascinated by it, I'd love to get the makeup artist and the photographer on, and the
Oh,
two of
that
us
would
could
be
really talk about our favorite photos to them, because I think that would be really fascinating. So
that would be
maybe we could work something like that out. So
okay. So we both had Kentucky for number 3.
yes.
Oh, okay. Who's your number 4?
So I'm gonna go with Massachusetts.
Massachusetts.
So
Oh,
I love the
wow. Paul, you're seeing some that I didn't see.
yeah, the sweeped away, like very like I've been trying to use more elegant words when I'm talking to my. So I'm using this word lioness. Lioness is a word that they use to describe the head of the pack, but she's the female. So she's the most fierce lion of the den. So it's so she looks very lioness. She has her mane of hair, and she's
Mm-hmm.
like, I'm gonna look right through you. You know, very like um
She's
and it.
also, I'm guessing by her last name, maybe Middle Eastern,
Mm-hmm,
D'Souza.
mm-hmm.
And I'm Lebanese, so I am a fan, of course. I love representation.
I I I really she she has those features that wouldn't um look bad. You know, sometimes um doing a straight on photo is not in your best
Mm-hmm.
interest. You can make it makes you like makes everything stick out, maybe your nose, your eye. But this is perfect because she has a very small little nose. It looks cute, and I think it's a great representation of doing a straight on photo if you have the features to pull it off. You know,
Mm-hmm. I
uh,
agree. I don't have.
it's really hard sometimes because sometimes if you have a very broad nose, doing a straight on photo may not be in your best interest. But she has those features that makes it a little subtle. So
Okay, so my next one, my fourth one, is North Dakota.
North Dakota. Okay.
And she is another one where her haircut just stood out to me. Her eyes, they're brown. And being a brown eyed girl myself, sometimes like brown eyes don't necessarily captivate you, but she has a bob cut and it's in these loose curls, and her eyebrows are beautiful. They're like perfectly brushed up, which I love. And she has her lips are beautiful, and she's like slightly smiling, but slightly showing teeth. I just think she is really stunning. Her name is Caitlin Vogel. I don't know you, but girl, you look good.
Caitlin looks like that one actress, and I can't think of her name, but she does the actress does these like romantic comedies, and
Oh,
I can't I know I'm gonna think of it as soon as we're done recording, but she looks just like this one actress. Um, she has her features like it's she even has the bob haircut.
oh
Um,
yeah. We'll have to look her up and talk about her later.
yeah. Um, we'll just have to pause this and bring it up at the end. But
Okay, so who's your fifth?
my last but not least would be Georgia. Georgia. Georgia.
Oh, okay. I don't have her. Her name's Cora Griffin. Her eyelashes look bomb.
I I was having I you know because the benefit as well as the hard thing is that we have a lot of the same looks
Mm-hmm.
because the edit. So I was trying to find like five outstanding girls that were completely different. So I wanted, I made a rule in my head. I didn't want to pick anyone where their body was covered with their hair, because um, I wanted to show the collarbone, and I want some that were really just like, if you looked at the photo, you wouldn't want to stop looking, and it's hard for me to not, I would, if she was selling, um, you know, soap or she was selling makeup, I think that would be the type of photo that you would look at.
Mm-hmm. She was beautiful, but she
Um,
was
all right. So last but not least,
okay. I couldn't leave my girl hanging.
oh, so you
I'm
went
going.
with Marilyn, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And I'm not just going with Marilyn because she's my girl and we're friends and we're sisters. But I hate to say that, like, if, like, for me, I don't think I would have chosen my headshot out of this group because I don't have a lot of girls are brunette and have long hair like I did. And a lot of girls did middle parts like I did. Layla has bangs, and she's the only candidate with bangs, but also she's an African American woman with bangs. And I feel like that happens less often.
No, it's a great.
And also, aside from that, I love how the hair is blowing in the wind underneath her chin because you still get some of the skin action like of her chest, but it just is beautiful. Her face is so symmetrical. Her eyes are literally the same. Her eyebrows you can see underneath the bangs. Her lips are beautiful. I just think it's such a great photo of her. And the thing that stinks usually about these is that the girls don't get to pick the photos themselves. The photographer, Crystal, or whoever, they pick them for them. So I think it just, you get lucky with the one they choose. And this is a case of the people that I picked. I think they had really great photos. So they probably took multiple really great photos.
I agree, and I'm 100% on your side about the bangs. It just my big thing, like I mentioned with the kind of rule I made was, I wish that the hair wasn't over her chest. I would have loved to see her collarbone. Except for that, it's a gorgeous photo. Um, I just know she could have another photo that's more gorgeous, but um, I fully support Miss Marilyn. I don't think this photo fully represents who she is because she's so gorgeous. And
See, I think you're wrong.
okay, that's fine.
Okay, so now for honorable mentions.
First of all, I want to just make a point here. We are not here to dog anybody, but I did want to just say something. And I don't know if this is the editor that took it on his own accord, because there are some very much heavy edits here that are. There are some girls like Kansas' photo is edited, but I think it's pretty close to what her skin tone. But Kansas is really heavily edited, and you can tell from her shoulder up to her neckline, it doesn't even match her skin tone. And I don't know if they narrowed her nose or not, but I really think that there's either she narrowed herself, which, I mean, that's her choice in life, or the photographer really played with her photo. And if that's the case, that's just such a foul in my so that's my only comment on all the other photos. And it's kind of a comment as a photographer in general to all the photos. I like that there was a consistency across the board. And they had one background and they did the fan, and it's all high key light. So high key light means that there's one flash. If you look at the eyes, you can see that there's a straight on bulb. So it's probably a beauty dish, and they're probably using a pro photo. Um, and he's definitely maxing it out, because if you look at the hairline, it's all lit up. So he's definitely hitting them straight on, even down their center part. Um, what do you think, Aid? Do you have any comments on this or on
Um,
that?
you
Like, I
know,
don't want you to get in trouble because I know some. I
No, yeah, I think some girls definitely. I'm not going to name any names, but there are girls that had less better photos, or lesser better. I don't know if that's proper English,
do you
but
think it?
not as
But
good photos.
do you think it's the photo, or do you think it's the girl? Because I think it's the photo. I don't think it's the girl.
Yeah, I think it could be a combination. I think, like you're saying, this lighting, especially since they were probably doing this so fast, they probably didn't even have time to change lighting per girl, which I
Oh,
think
100%.
session you would try out different lightings to like see which is the best one for yourself. So I think that, they were given just this one studio setup, which that is always the case. Like sometimes some lighting doesn't look good on some girls or some people in general. So that does kind of stink. So I think it could be both. But my honorable mentions are, well, okay, I have to just mention two people. Number one, New York, just because Brianna is such a hard worker. She competed and got top 5 years in a row. And on last year of eligibility, she just won. So kudos to her. I think she would definitely be prepared to take the Miss Universe stage since she has a lot of top 5 experience. And I know she has a great platform. I also know that South Carolina is a former teen. So those are two girls, and same with Pennsylvania, like you mentioned. Those are three girls that have been on my radar just because of their experience and their past. And then my actual honorable mention, excuse me, for a photo is Texas. And Texas is one of the brunettes that looks, in my case, like it would have been for me, like all of the brunettes look the same. But she just picked a fabulous angle with her face to the side, her chin slightly angled down so you can see her chiseled chin, her lips, which I believe are supplemented with something, look fabulous. I'm always in the case, I support women's decision for aesthetics. I'm not a hater in terms of those things. And I think if from just looking at it, that's my guess. If it's not, I'm sorry, girl. You have just like born to be amazing, blessed lips. But I think she just looks beautiful. And I think she's either Italian or Asian. Hosa. Maybe she's Filipino, but she's beautiful.
I think she's actually Italian, and I'm just gonna throw it out there because I have seen, her photos from crowning. I mean, I that might be her. That might be her actual lips because she's super tall.
Oh, cool. Yeah, well, her lips are literally perfect. But that's all I got for you.
So to recap, AIDS picks are going to be Florida, Hawaii, Kentucky, North Carolina, and Maryland.
North Dakota.
I'm sorry. Mm-hmm. North Dakota, Florida, Hawaii, Kansas, North Dakota, and Kentucky. Maryland. And mine are going to be Vermont, Pennsylvania, Massachusetts, Georgia, and Kansas. So,
no,
and then
Kentucky, Kentucky.
Oh, did I just miss Kentucky?
It's okay. It's been a long day.
As everyone that listens to my podcast, I have dyslexia. So again, we're gonna do this one more time. Paul's picks are Kentucky, Georgia, Massachusetts, Pennsylvania, and Vermont. Okay, so I hope you guys have a fabulous Miss USA, and I think because we're so close, if you want, because I don't think it's fair for me to ask you to pick your Miss Universe, but maybe we can reconvene and do that. But let's just do our results for both after Universe, and we'll just do a big results party for Universe.
Okay, that sounds
America. We'll do because the cool thing is that now that the pageants are kind of in line, this is kind of cool. So literally in 3 weeks, the three biggest pageants are going to happen. So you have Monday the 29th, you have USA. And then literally on the 12th of December, you have Universe. And then on the 16th, you have Miss America. So I'm thinking that, maybe the first week in December, we'll pop up with a preview for Miss Universe and Miss America, if it's okay with Aid. And then we will pop back up with our results for all three the week of the 20th in December. So I hope all our listeners enjoy our feedback and are enjoying it. And as always, please stay tuned.
Yeah, see you guys later. Thanks.
Oh, and as I always want to mention, Adrianna has a phenomenal foundation. So I would recommend you to reach out to her foundation, and she's going to mention all about it.
Thank you. Yeah, Charities Angels, we're a 501c3 nonprofit of women giving back through parties for a purpose. You can follow us at Charities Angels, or you can find me at Adrianna C. David. I'm also pageant coaching now. I've had a lot of great girls, and I know Paul does that too. But if you also want to find me for pageant consulting, I am also available in person in New York and Maryland, or online, obviously, everywhere. So thank you guys so much. Thank you, Paul, for having me again. And I look forward to the next one.
All right, guys, as always, to the next time. Bye.